Today we're going to be looking at a very, very important training, which is called the levels of growth in our business. So we need to understand that there are levels to this thing that we are doing. There are levels. If you don't understand this, you will find out that when you get to certain levels in the business, you might get frustrated. You might get frustrated. So when you have an understanding of the various levels, it helps you to remain focused, to remain committed as you build your business. All right. So the levels of growth in our business. The levels of growth in our business. The first level is called the opportunity level. The what? The opportunity level. Now, this is where you get connected into this business. You were invited. I don't know how you saw the opportunity, but in my own case, I was recommended. I received a text message, isn't it? And I was invited. I received a phone call from the organization inviting me for a presentation. And I came and I saw the opportunity. And what happened? I made a decision to get connected, right? Now, and that began a level for me in the business called the opportunity level. This is when you are just new in the business, right? So you come with a very high expectation of what is possible, isn't it? So now, in the opportunity level, your initial goal is usually to recover your startup capital. That's the initial goal most of us have. You put in money, which is more like a startup capital, maybe 70,000, maybe 100,000, and you're saying, let me even see if I can even recover this my startup capital first. I will follow what these people are saying, isn't it? Now, you charge out with a lot of excitement. You're so excited because of the possibilities, because of what you have been informed that this business can do for you. You're so excited, isn't it? And so you go all out with all excitement and all. But you see, we are not prepared for what is going to hit you emotionally. You're not prepared for all the rejection that you are going to face in the business. Nobody prepared you for it. And all that excitement. You charged out and you felt that anybody you talk to will connect into this business. But you were hit with a very heavy rejection by most people. And guess what? It got to you emotionally. You meet discouragement, and then most people decide to return back to Egypt. You know Egypt now? The Israelites. Even though God had prepared a better place for them. But it got to a point when they saw the obstacles they were facing, they saw the various challenges. They said, is it not better we return back to what? Egypt. And so, in this business, at that opportunity level, because of the heavy rejections we face, we tell ourselves, isn't it better for us to return back to status quo? Let's go back to the life that we are used to. Let's return back to our what? Egypt. At the opportunity level. However, some people who were fortunate to read the book, which we call Your First Year in Network Marketing, and that's why we normally recommend that people go through this book, Your First Year in Network Marketing. And also those who have gone through the New Connectors Academy are already equipped with the information about what? Rejection, about dream stealers, about accepting a temporary loss of social esteem from ignorant people. So they do what? They persevere through all the what? Challenges, and they survive. Remember, the goal in the first year is to do what? Is to survive. Money is important too, but that is not the goal in your first year. The goal in your first year is to do what? Is to survive all through the what? All through the challenges. Because there's going to be a lot of rejection. A lot of deception. People will tell you, I'm coming, right? You book them, you invite them, you tell them I'm on my way, I'm almost there. Meanwhile, they are still sleeping and cozying on their bed. People will tell you, don't worry, that alert. All those things are what? Deception. There will be a lot of those. But by the time you understand that this is what you face in the opportunity level, you are fully equipped because you have gone through the New Connected Academy. You have read your first year in network marketing. So you expect to face all these challenges. And so it helps you to persevere through them. And then you are able to survive. Then you see some people in that state, they still go ahead to keep upgrading their account. They keep doing what? Because they have been able to understand that these things are a normal phenomenon attached with this kind of business. So in all that, you see them, they keep upgrading, right? Even though they're not getting results, they are still adding one account. You see some people doing 15 accounts, you see some people doing 31 account. And you are asking, are you sure these people are with their right senses? How come they are not getting results? But guess what? They are still upgrading their what? Account. It's because they have this pre-information. They knew that these challenges are bound to be there. But this is all happening in the opportunity what? Level. Now, this moves you to the next level of growth. So we are done with the first level of growth called the opportunity level, where you suffer heavy rejection and you almost quit. In fact, most people quit in this business, but those who are able to, at this level, most people quit at this level. But those who are able to understand that these things are expected, and what will help you understand that is by ensuring that you open yourself to the trainings that have been made available to help you understand the foundation necessary to build this business. Those that are able to survive move to the next level of growth. What is that next level? The next level is called the stability level. The stability level. Okay? The stability what? Level. Now, at this level, even though you are still going to be suffering rejection at this level, but then your account has been linked. Meaning that we said that once you sign up into this business, we're going to create a username and password for you, isn't it? We'll send it to you so that you can log in. At least you know that what you paid for, you actually got something back. You get your product. You have been given your product. So you started using the product, right? You're enjoying some of the benefits from the product. For those of you that did multiple accounts when you started, you've even gotten instant what? Cashback. You've seen it. You've even made little money. You might have gotten one person signed up into your business. You've made maybe 20,000 naira, isn't it? From that. You've collected one or two persons. Now you are now beginning to understand how the business works. You now know that there's something called binary. You know that it is left and right, isn't it? You are beginning to have an understanding because you have tasted small. Abi? Somebody has connected, you have made 20,000. You know that this someone else connect, you make another what? 20,000. You know if you have somebody on your left and your right, you match what? 7,000. So you are beginning to understand how it works. However, your belief in the system and business is still what? Limited. At the stability level, it's still limited. You still do not have the what? The belief. It is still limited. Even though you now know that this thing is not a scam. You know it is not a scam. Because everything you were promised that you are going to be given, you have done what? You've received it. But your belief is still not there. But then, you continue learning. You continue learning. Because you were able to go through the what? The basics. And that's why the basics is very important. You've gone through your IPO, you've gone through your QSG, you've started reading your first year in network marketing, you've attended the New Connections Academy, and you keep engaging in other form of self and personal development. You have an understanding, and you've begun to see little results, right? That is called the stability level. Now, from this level, you move again to the next level. I want you to follow me closely. You move to the next level called the what? The activity what? Level. So at the stability level, like I said already, you now have a bit of idea of how this business works. In fact, it is at that level that you know, at stability level, you now begin to understand that, look, in as much as this business is not a scam, but for me to attain the kind of result that I want from this business, there's a lot expected of me. And it takes you to the activity what? Level. And so through mentorship, you now understand that to earn money consistently in the business, you need to build a team. You need to build a what? A team at the activity level. And to do that, you need to approach the business as a what? As a farmer, not a hunter. A hunter is that person that just looks for the next available meat to do what? To shoot down. And he takes it home and prepares for his family. They eat it. Tomorrow they go again and they shoot down another one. And that is how they survive. But a farmer knows that he needs to plant, and he needs to water, and he needs to nurture, and he needs to be patient to wait for the day he will go and do what? And harvest. And when he's harvesting, he's going to be harvesting bountifully. You're approaching it now as a what? As a farmer. You're approaching the business now as a farmer. You are patient. You know that even though it's going to take time, it's going to take effort, but it's going to be worth it at the end of the what? At the end of the day. Now you understand that this business is a numbers game. You understand that the business is a numbers game. You need to play with numbers. You don't just show the business to one or two persons and you feel your life is going to change. You feel you're going to get the result that you want. No. You need to keep showing it to as many people as possible. You understand that it's a numbers game, and you are willing and ready to go to work. This is when you make up your mind that this business, in as much as it is legitimate and it has the potential that it promises, I am willing to do what? Go to work to achieve that result. So you make up your mind at this point, and you are willing and ready to go to work. And you understand that you need to embrace the rejections as they come and walk through the what? The numbers. So you now understand that these rejections that are coming are even the breakfast I need to eat in this business. It is our breakfast in this business. So as they come, it doesn't weigh you down anymore. Okay? Because you need to walk through the rejection. Because you need to accept as many no's for you to find the eventual yes that you are looking for in this business. And so you are willing to be patient and build with the right momentum. This is at the activity level. So this activity level is when you make that commitment to do the activities. You begin to do home launches. You do the first home launch, you don't get any result. You say, I don't agree. You do the second one, right? You say the home launch is not working. You say, let me do a brand launch. But look at what happens here. You have made that commitment that, look, you must put in every necessary strategy, every necessary system available for you to succeed. The home launches is not working. Your one market, people you know, they are finished. What do? You take questionnaires. You begin to give out these questionnaires to people you don't know. You engage in questionnaire challenge. You start getting contacts of people you don't know, strangers. and we also take this opportunity to them. You go on a one-on-one engagement, people that you've invited and they decided not to come. You can take your leader to those people, and then it becomes a one-on-one engagement. They explain the business professionally to them, and they tell them why this business is better for them, and they make their decision. So this is what happens at the activity level. So what it means is that you have understood that work is necessary, and you need to be willing and ready to do what? To work the numbers. To work the numbers. Now, from the activity level, as you begin to do the activities and you are increasing your momentum in the business, as you are increasing the momentum that you have in your business, you move to the next level called the producing what? Level. The producing level. The producing level. So what happens in the producing level? Now, at this level, the results begin to do what? To show. People are now signing up into your what? Business. Right? People are signing up into your business. Why? Because of the activities you have put in. You have begun to see the result. Now, the momentum is building up. This person signs up today, he does his own home launch, another person signs up into his team, another person does again. So the momentum is what is moving. At this level, rejection no longer gets to you like it does before. So if you face rejection, you are smiling because you already know where you are coming from. You know the number of rejections you have faced, and you know where it has led you to. Because what? The result is now coming, isn't it? So rejection is no longer anything to you. You know it is part of the business, and you are ready to embrace it when it comes. So you started making money every week from the business, even if it's 7,000 naira weekly. But you know that in a week, money comes into you through this business. And the most interesting thing is that it is through leverage. So you have begun to enjoy leverage income. At this point, you have confirmed that this business is not a scam. You now smile at the naysayers and the dream stealers that tell you the business does not work. They are smiling. Why? Because you have begun to see the what? The little results coming in. And then people are telling you this business does not work. You're just looking at them and you're smiling. Right? Now, you now sense what is possible at this point. You now tell yourself that if I can be making this little money from this business at this point, what happens if I activate my other accounts which I have arranged? Meaning that you probably have done multiple accounts. And maybe it's just one account that is paying you 7,000 naira every week. You're now telling yourself, what happens if other accounts that I have also start producing like this, my one account? You can imagine the multiple incomes I'll be making, the potential. You now sense what is possible in the business. But it still comes at a what? At a cost. There is no time freedom yet. There is no time what? Freedom. Meaning that you still need to give it your time. Even though you are seeing the results now, you still need to give it your what? Time. There is no rest yet. You need to be up and doing. You don't need to be complacent at this point. As the money has started coming, you don't need to be complacent. And that is the reason why you see some of us, even though we started making the residual income, we keep showing up. We keep showing up because complacency is not permitted. Because the moment you get complacent, you can lose everything you have built. So there's still no rest. You are always in the field working and building your business. Right? You still feel the money you are making isn't commensurate to the work and time you are putting in. At the what? At the producing level. Even though the money has started coming, you still feel that you are still working more than the income you are doing what? You are getting. Are we following? Guess what? At this level, you are still very likely to what? To quit the business. So it doesn't mean that the result has started coming and then you are now immune to quit. No. You can still quit at this business. Because people are still going to tell you, you are getting results, but guess what? Every now and then you are going to because at this point you are trying to help your team, isn't it? Because you have people that have signed on into your business. So at this point, you will be helping them. Maybe you have learned how to do presentation. So when they want to show their prospects the opportunity, you go with them to help engage their prospects so that they can see it from a professional standpoint and make a better decision. Rather than allowing that your teammate who is just new into the business, to go and mess up the presentation, you go with them. So you find that at this point, there is still no rest because you need to help your people to also do what? Make money. And that is what ensures that you continue to produce. So at that point, you can still get frustrated and say, I thought that by now I should be resting, I should be sleeping, and the money will just be what? Coming, isn't it? But guess what? You are still going to be actively involved at this level. So if you allow that frustration to take hold of you, what happens? You quit. You quit. You quit. Now, for those who understand that in as much as they are putting in the work, they need to keep putting it, they need to keep persisting, and that persistence leads them into the next level. But I want us to note something. At every level, there are gate men. At every level, there are gate men. Now, when you don't possess the virtue that will sustain you on any of the levels, the gate men take action by pushing you down to the next lower level, below your current level, and you might eventually quit. So what does this mean? So for every level that you enter, there are certain virtues, there are certain characteristics that you must possess, there are certain competencies that you must have. And if you do not have those competencies at those levels, guess what? Those gate men that have been placed in charge of those levels, I'm talking spiritually now, so these are not gate men that you see physically, no. Because our business is a spiritual business. It's not just, we're not just doing this business, because people are involved in it. People's destinies are tied to one another. Are we following? So there are people who are also watching over what we do. So if you don't do this business sincerely to help other people, there are gate men who are watching you, and they can frustrate you and push you out of this business. So those gate men will watch those competencies that you've developed and say, yes, this person has what it takes to move to the next level. But if you are at that level and you are not still displaying those competencies and those virtues and those characteristics, they can still push you down to the previous level you came from and keep pushing you further till you decide to leave the business. Now, you need to have the character and competency that will enable you to maintain your current level and aspire to move to the next higher level. So you need to keep doing personal development, right? Now, when you have moved from the what? The producing level, the next level you move to is called the leadership what? Level. The leadership level. Because your teammates now look up to you. They have seen that this person is a goal-getter. This person is producing results. They have seen what you have been able to do for yourself and for people in your team. And so when people join your business, they are attracted to you naturally. And then you enter the leadership level. Leadership level. Now, uneasy lies the head that wears the what? The crown. I believe you've heard this quote before, isn't it? Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. So it is no longer about you at this level. When you enter the leadership level, it is no longer about you. You are now more invested in helping your what? Your team. You are much invested. That's the reason why, if you are not qualified to enter this level, the gate men that are watching over the gate of every level will not permit you to cross, because there's a lot of commitment required here. There's a lot of sacrifice required here at the leadership what? Level. So you take the position of someone like Esther in the Bible that says that if I succeed, I succeed. If I perish, I perish. But you see, I can't abandon my people to the wolves. You must take the position of a good shepherd who will keep watching over their what? Their shepherd at this level. You must wear the robe of humility. Humility. So to your downlines, you must be humble. You must be a servant leader to your downlines. You must lead them as a servant. You don't allow their actions or inactions get to you, because we are all humans. We are going to err, isn't it? In different ways. So you must approach each person differently, because everyone has a strengths and weaknesses. You must approach them. So you must be humble, and you must also be loyal. You don't say, now I have arrived. No. There are people who came before you. You have your upline leaders. You must also remain loyal to them at this level. Okay? To be able to function at the level. Now, also guard against taking offense from your downlines. So, because as you begin to build this business, you get to a point where you'll find out that one person or 2 or 3 persons in your downlines are even making more money than you. For some people, they begin to allow envy creeping. They say, how can this person that just came in yesterday be making more money? And that person comes to you for advice, and guess what? You tell him, please, I'm busy. Begin to become sneaky, try to avoid those people. Why? Because they are now making, so that's envy, that's greed. Don't also pick offense from your leaders at this point. Your leaders, people who are there before you, people who have mentored you and have taken you to this point, because now you have arrived, you feel you are now making money, and then they now call you and tell you, this is what I need you to do. And you begin to pick offense. Or you begin to now tell them, no, this is how it must be. No, you need to remain loyal to leadership. So at this level, the gate men decide if you have met the competency, and they move you to the next higher level. So at this point, at the leadership level, it is no longer at your own accord. It is the gate men that decide whether you have met the criteria, and they move you up to the next level. Now we're going to talk about the next level, and that's the final level in this business. But you see, this leadership level is more like where we should aim and aspire. We should aim and aspire, because this is where we know that this business will keep paying us as much as possible. We've gotten to the peak, in a way, of our business, where if we do things right, if we are humble and we are loyal, we'll keep getting results consistently, with or without us. Right? Because we are also going to be there when our team members call on us. We're always going to be there. Like what we are doing now is not as if we cannot be sleeping in our home. Are we following? We can decide, after all, you have signed up into this business. It's a business. Everybody can run their race. But there's a promise that we have made, that we're going to mentor you, we're going to work with you. And so we can't go back on that promise. Right? And the reason why we say set up a home launch is because we have the humility to come there and work with you, irrespective of where you say, come, let us go. We go there with you. Are we following? And so when you get to this level, it is no longer about you. It is about helping your teammates to also succeed and get results. Because as much as they get results, you also get results. And so when you have satisfied what is expected, the competency level, at this level, the gate men move you to the next level, which we call the level of the warrior what? Leaders. The warrior what? Leaders. So now, it is no longer, you're not driven anymore by passion. You're not driven anymore by results, because the result has already started coming. It is more about the purpose you want to fulfill. It's more about the purpose. It's more about the vision of the organization. Remember what our vision says: to raise a financially free people who will help to raise other financially free people, so that collectively we can use our resources to make the world a better place. At this level, you are now a problem solver. You solve problems at ease because you have the experiences. You've come of age in the business. You are able to mediate effectively and solve complex what? Complex problems for your teammates. So people come to you, and at the tip of your fingers, you are able to solve whatever problems or challenges that they have. So like I said, it is no longer about passion or probably the results, because they are already there. The income is there. You already have passion for what you do. It is more about fulfilling what? The purpose, the vision, the mission of C21FG. Now you are raising leaders who are now raising other what? Leaders at this point. Right? Now a warrior leader has been authorized to lead his people to the promised what? Land, just like Moses in the Bible. You are the one who has now been empowered. The gate man has let you in, and you have now been given the full armor as a warrior. No wonder Elisha said, I saw warriors and chariots of fire come to take Elijah. Right? Because it was a battle. It was a battle. They knew that coming to take Elijah and taking him up to heaven, there are several battles that needed to be fought. And so Elisha said, I saw warriors and chariots of fire come to take Elijah. So it's a battle and never a bed of roses. So what we are doing in this business, in as much as everything promised here will come to reality, but you need to fight for it. Because freedom is not freely given. It has to be fought for. So, in conclusion, this business is a battle to financial freedom, and you must fight your own what? Battle. You must fight your own what? Battle. You must build the required what? Competency. You must build the required competency. You must build the required competency. You must keep faith alive by strengthening your belief system through self-meetings, billionaire school trainings, and personal studies. Personal studies. You need to, on your own, you can go online and listen to videos, audio tapes, and whatever you can lay your hands on. You can also read books to keep improving your knowledge on this business. Now, you must remain in the field and never take your eye off the ball. Never take your eye off the ball. Because if you are in a field of play and you are in a competition of 11 players each on both sides, everybody is chasing after the ball, isn't it? Everybody is chasing. Everybody wants to get the ball so that they can score. So everybody's eyes is always on the ball. And so you need to understand that you are in the field and you must never take your eye off the ball. You must keep building even when the results don't seem to be evident. So even when the result is not evident, you're not seeing the income yet, you must remain in the field. You must keep building the business. You must commit to working with your teammates. You must commit to working with your teammates. You need to teach them the business and you need to work with them to get results. Okay? And then you need to remain loyal to the C21FG leadership. You need to remain loyal. Remain loyal to your leaders, to your mentors, to those who are here to guide you. Remain loyal to them. And you need to wear the robe of humility always. You need to be a servant leader to your teammates. You need to be a servant leader to your teammates. And finally, you need to become a warrior leader. And with that, I say thank you very much for your time and for paying rapt attention to this training. I remain my humble self, Ambassador Patrick Ogbedepo. Thank you very much. If you have questions, you can answer your question. I can answer those questions.